Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Here is Jan Roberts and Professor Mauri Rossini again for another talk about man empowerment. And today's subject is again a wonderful one, which already Professor Mauri has used as a LinkedIn newsletter, which you need to visit as well. And it's about career versus fatherhood. So, Mauri, it was an amazing newsletter that you just came out with. And I love how short and compact and to the point they are. So, how would you like to start this?
Thank you, dear John. Always amazing seeing you. The idea of sharing the newsletter is about having it very provocative and short. So everybody has no excuses not to go through of it. And even on the rush, on the tube, they can read in it. I was thinking, as we've been discussing previously in all our episodes, and most likely we will still discuss, is all the conditioning that men not suffer, but they live out of the fear of the conditioning of opening up, of dealing with their own emotions. So in one of these conditioning, it's about career, because as you know very well, as men, we are the provider, which is totally fine. We are crafted and designed and created to provide and protect. Consequently, we need to go work and making money. And there is nothing better than making money while doing something that we love. And so I was wondering, what is the boundaries between fulfill as a man the career without neglecting as a father or even as a man the presence in our family with our spouse, girlfriend, or if we have kids. So that's why the title was Fatherhood versus Career, because at times we are so engaged on fulfilling our archetype of provider. And most of the time, there is a lot of even seeking self-validation in a career to say, I am worthy because I became a CEO or a manager or a successful entrepreneur. Then we forget or simply neglect consciously what really counts in life, which is not only make money, provide, and be ambitious, and which is amazing, but nourishing the relationship within family members. And you can only do that while you are present, not only physically, but with your mind and heart. And at times, after long hours of work, men come back home and they have no energy. So they do neglect the family dynamics in order to fulfill the career dynamics. Therefore, how difficult it is to be a father, successful in career, and then present with the kids.
Again, very powerful to touch on this subject again during Men's Health Month and also just after Father's Day. You touched on a few things there. The first one is, when men come home and they're tired, they're very different to women. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That book really goes into it, and it shows that men really want to go into their man cave, and that doesn't mean they have to have a cave, but in their own spirit, they want to be by themselves and just relax, which adds to the problems in a way, because when you come home, they want your attention, and they're not getting it. Subconsciously, really, I suppose, because men don't think about it. But the other thing is, you and me have talked about this before, that the need to serve was so great. The need to be people pleasers, and when you take that into consideration in a career where you actually go up the ladder, and you become, in my case, I was called an expert, and because of personal development, I had great communication skills as well. So they wanted to use you, and we allow this to happen because of various factors: the fear of losing your job, of the fear of not being recognized, the fear of so many different things. And in the meantime, the biggest reason why we really do those kind of things is to grow a family and to have a family that we provide for. Really, the one thing we don't provide is our presence. And I've seen it because for us, it was a traveling job in the oil industry. And we were away 8 weeks away, 4 weeks at home. And then because we're understaffed, it was longer. And they say, Jan, you need to stay a few weeks longer. And of course, Jan did. The same as we all do when we are really so engrossed into our job, and I never hated it, but I mean, it came a point that I knew there was more to do. But all these kind of things that come to the men, that the pressures of performing, the pressures of thinking that we cannot say no, and we can't say no, but we believe that we need to do because we serve, we please, and we want to maybe move up that corporate ladder. And if we say no, we think our chances are done. Now, I didn't have that particular problem, but the fact is that I knew that if you get to a point where if you don't do it, who will help out? Who will do these kind of things? But it's another excuse, really, because at the end, we need to be present with our family, and then when we do come home, we're so tired that we need days to recover, and then before you know it, you're away again, and you haven't done anything. So there's a lot of those kind of things that. Is there such a thing as work-life balance? I don't think so. Because how can you say that if you work 12 hours a day and then you spend 4 hours with your family, is that balance? No, but you need to be realistic that balance, we need to try and balance it out. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think modern men in general are forced to choose in between, being good fathers or respected professional, as I said before, and achieving the career. And
Mm.
the thing is, it is a truth that everybody knows, but nobody wants to say it aloud. So it's a very sensitive topic. It is interesting enough, I guess, to share with the audience that there was a strike recently, I think a week ago, 2 weeks ago, in the UK for fathers claiming they're having more maternal leaves. It's worldwide. Maybe there is some, probably Scandinavia, they are quite
Yeah,
advanced on this, that
yeah.
men, they can get enough leaves to take care of the kids. But that's something that you see, it's so important, I guess, even for the future. And I believe it will happen. I'm positive on that, even men, they can care and be present in the family. Number one, it breaks the stereotype that only women stay home. And it's a matter of fact that now women are, due to the campaign done in the past 20, 30 years, they are growing very much. But what we are facing, we are the women transforming into men, and men going in a very non becoming really avoiding confrontations. So all the roles are changing a lot. If you see the prototype of the stereotype of a CEO woman, we don't share with women how to be women and to bring the beauty and the power of the feminine energy into a corporate. A woman to become a CEO becomes like a man because it has to fight into the man's world. Instead of value both of the energies, we are transforming them. So when it comes to men think that I need to work, I'm the bread winner, and I cannot take care about the kids. What if you give the opportunity to men as well to go home and take care of the kids as well? So even for the kids, it's important that the father and mother presence is there. Cannot be only the mother, only the father, both of them, to give them a proper guidance as well.
Yeah, and I love that. And we must not forget to mention, of course, that even though we talk about men empowerment and how men need to be able to open up and discuss these kind of things and the pressures and the anxiety that they have as well and the depression that they go into, we must realize that this also applies to women, of course, even more so today than ever before. So when we say men, we also want to include women into this because they have the same challenges that they now because they have always been at a different level. As you said, women were always at home, and now they for decades now they've really been moving up in the world as they should. But they have the pressure as well that because they are still fighting for women empowerment or women's rights, and they're still in some areas where especially male dominated, they're also seen as a threat, and also they feel that they need to do even more to retain and to increase their positions in corporate. So, but for men as well, it is. I would love to hear people's thoughts on this because the audience is growing in this, and that's great because we want to have better and bigger conversations, and we need to discuss these kind of things more because men. Need to really have a good look in the mirror and say what is really important in my life. Is it career? Is it family? And it is nothing wrong with it. It's both. And of course, the career is equally important because we had a conversation before this. Money is only a tool, but it's very necessary because without it, other issues come looking, and the pressure on both the whole family becomes bigger, not only on men or women. And of course, the male always has been the provider of old. But there is now a lot of men who have taken that step that they say, well, I'll stay at home with the kids because my wife has got a better job and she deserves it too. And I think men sometimes have to also let go of their ego that they need to. And some men find it very difficult to take. But I think overall that we really need to have a discussion as well as, what is important. And we need to have these discussions in our families. We need to have these with in our social environment, even at work. And I love what you said. I think it's Sweden actually, especially where they now give men equal, or maybe Norway, equal rights for maternity and paternity leave now, because they're not maternity leave, of course. And some people say, yeah, but the woman had the child and all that. But it says if the man can actually bond better with their children when they're that young as well, it really sets the children up for the rest of their life, and it also really connects the fathers better. So, have you got any thoughts before we finish this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very complicated situation, to be honest, because in a world that preaches that in order to be enough, you must have the new car, the new house. And so if there is not, I think I won't get tired to say the same. It is so mandatory to do the inner work, because the inner work means instead of looking for answers and validation outside yourself, you go within. You don't need to be a guru. You don't need to live in a mountain, meditating 8 hours a day. No. I always say you can drive a Bentley being a CEO. But if you start to develop some self-awareness and you pick up the way that you react to respond to situation, and you understand very fast and easy that we are so conditioned from so many marketing campaigns. And right now, they are really subtle. They study the behavior. So we live in a world that men and women, in order to feel enough, they need to produce. What happened? To make money, you need to go out and working. Who is paying the salary? Who is paying the job? The thing is, are the kids at home that maybe they stay in private school? They don't have the presence of the mother and the father.
Yeah.
And those kids, they are the future of this amazing planet. And they come up totally lost, not because the father or the mother are bad people, simply they don't know any better and they need to provide. So it's a very complicated thing that for sure we don't have the arrogance to solve it out right now, but it made this conversation opens up some thoughts to our viewers. And today the intention was simply to knock at the door of a topic that is so undervalued that everybody knows, fatherhood and career. And most of the men listening to us, most likely, they will feel the pain of saying, I would love to be more present in my family, but I need to provide as well. So I would suggest, dear John, to our audience now and later on the social medias, just reflect to all the men, close your eyes and ask yourself, am I chasing to grow in my career because I want to be validated, or simply because I want to provide for my family? It's a good question that you can ask yourself. And maybe the answer, if you let your answer come up, maybe you see that maybe it's ego-driven, just to get validation, or maybe simply because you want to really provide to the family.
Again, I love that. And when people have listened to us before, they know we could probably talk for the next 10 hours, but we want to keep it short. And I like this whole idea, and you're very good at inner work. And I love this because we work with values-based leadership, and the quote for that is transformation begins in me. And I think that's where everybody needs to start, to look in the mirror, say, what can I change? And we talk about be the change. Now, what change can you be for your children so they become better prepared for the future that they're walking into, and it's their future? How can we support and guide and help them better? So again, for me as well, if you enjoy this conversation, join the conversation. Go and get in the comments below and let us know what your thoughts are about these important subjects, and let's see how we can drive these kind of conversations forward, because it only works when we get more and more people involved. And also, if you are are interested in other subjects within men empowerment or any of those areas that you would like us to have a discussion about, please let us know as well. But like and share this with other people, and let's start having bigger conversations. So for me, it's goodbye, and we'll see you the next time. Maurizio?
Bye bye, everybody. See you next time.
Okay, take care.